first tell me your name if you want.
Ziggy Coyote.
And can I put this on YouTube? Alright, so...
Is that on your birth certificate, Ziggy Coyote?
Swear to God.
Fair enough. Okay.
So, how long have you been here and what are you doing here?
Been here 19 days. Just doing my best to contribute, help keep a lot of smiles, you know, go on marches, participate.
Do you live here in New York?
I do not. I'm from Arkansas.
Oh, so you traveled here from Arkansas
Yes.
to just be part of this?
Yeah, Greyhound.
So here's one sort of criticism of the movement. Like the Occupy Wall Street seems to have sort of an anti-business bent.
Yeah.
And yet people are enjoying, you know, the buses, the transportation, the clothing, the food that the free market system provides us.
Right.
Do you see that as just a misinterpretation of what you're about, or?
I don't think it's necessarily business as much as it is just capitalism. I think people would be all right with businesses if it was more for example, restaurants like mom and pop, more just locally owned, instead of having one business that owns 70% of, you know, whatever it's just too much. There's not enough sharing. There's the checks and balances.
But you recognize for certain products like cars or iPhones, I mean, you know, a mom and pop shop can't churn out decent computers. Right. I mean, there has to be mass, there has to be mass production on certain things to make them affordable to masses, right?
I guess, man. I would just like to see more of a return of more local and okay. So say they do keep big corporations even after this. If they just they contributed more to society, if they kind of, because I mean Apple, you know, Steve Jobs, he made, you know, so much money, and there's so much that they could do and do to
but you know, I'm recording you on an iTouch, right? And this makes my life a lot better. So I feel like Steve Jobs did. I think he did contribute to my life, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, let me ask. I mean, what do you? Oh, well, so we're talking about capitalism, right? And people have different ideas of what that means. I mean, I would favor stopping giving tax money to any corporation.
Yeah.
Are you on board with that?
Stop giving them tax money? Yeah, I think they should pay their taxes instead of.
But I mean, I'm against you know, bailing out banks that are failing, giving money to businesses for whatever political reason. I mean, are you on board with that? Just cutting corporations off from the tax funds?
I don't think. Here's what I think.
All right.
I don't think that. I think we should just take away from the banks. Federal Reserve is privately owned. It's misleading.
Well, I mean, it's government run in a way, but it's sort of quasi-private, right?
Right. So.
Sorry, we're getting.
There just needs. I don't know. There needs to be more sharing. There's too much people just keeping all the money for themselves. Whenever, I mean, the change out of their pockets could, you know, make the difference. Say if this movement were to work like tonight, I mean, all these people, these 400 families or whatever, just to change out of their pockets, they would still be incredibly wealthy. They'd be able to keep their island, you know, and still help us out a lot, so much. So I mean.
Well, how do you? So let me ask you how that should be done, right? So traditionally, Americans have given enormous amounts to voluntary charities. You know, whether it's medical research or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's adequate to rely on voluntary charity systems, or do you think you literally have to, you know, force people to pony up? I guess is what I'm asking.
I think right now, you know, we should put more. We should kind of force it. We should be you know, this has gone on for a long time, so we should be hey, let's do something. Let's do something now.
But but arguably that's a little mean, right? To say we're gonna throw you in prison if you don't pay us money, right?
No,
that's ultimately what it's about, right?
I don't think we should throw them in prison. I think we should be on their ass. I think we have every right to.
Well, wait, does be on their ass mean say exhort them publicly, or does that mean force them? Really, that's a distinction, right?
I think we should exhort them. I mean, I don't think there should be. I don't think anyone should be going to jail So, I mean, I think some bankers are at that point, but I mean, I still don't think anyone should be going to jail necessarily.
Well,
jail's awful.
How long do you expect to be participating in this?
You know, I wanna stay as long as I can handle the cold. You know, I'd like to go to some of the other occupations.
Oh yeah.
And see what they're doing, kind of help out.
Did you come out by yourself or with a group?
I came out with a buddy, but he only stayed for about 4 days and he went back home.
I mean, is it after a while? Does it get boring or is it enjoyable? Do you meet interesting people? Or?
There's different things happening every day. It's constant, and the days go by so fast because of that. Like you know, I've been here like 18 days now, and it feels like I got here like last week.
Is it more of a political movement or is it more of like a social Woodstocky kind of shindig?
I mean, it's political, but it's a social experiment. We're kind of like creating like a prototype to society, like to what we could have. Like if all these bankers that change out of their pockets, we could provide free food for a lot of communities, and like sanitation. We've come to a point that we can provide these things. We don't even provide healthcare. You know, everywhere else that is in our position has healthcare. Canada has healthcare. Europe has healthcare.
But you recognize, right? I mean, America, the problem with the poor is obesity. In Africa, the problem with the poor is they're all dying of AIDS, right? So you recognize that it's pretty good to be born in America overall.
I mean, yeah, I love this country, but the thing is America's likes to think of themselves a top dog, like really badass. We can't even give our people health care. It's kind of a shame.
I mean, the counter argument is the government trying to give people health care for 40 years is what screwed up the whole system and made it so fucking expensive, right? I know that's kind of an historical argument.
The thing. So. They could do it. They can afford to. It can be done, but it's not.
Okay, well I disagree with you on that, but it's intricate sort of argument. Well, thanks a lot for the interview though.
All right.